It may be uncomfortable, and boy, I'm really working through this because I don't want to do it. I'm going to be honest. But I may have to apologize to Rinder and Claire Headley a little bit. Now, don't start screaming like, oh no, you joined USA. I'm just saying that part of what Claire and Mike were saying the whole time turned out to be kind of true. But I don't want to focus on the apology just yet because, boy, I'm gonna I'm gonna need to prepare for that one. But let's focus on the here and now with the interesting convergence with the silence of the women of SPTV. You know those women? Remember them women's? Remember Aaron's women's all the time? All of them they say, "We stand with the victim. If you got a victim, we stand with it. We stand with her. We stand with him. We stand with them's." It's like, who's the victim? I don't care. Streets LA, Aaron, barbecue, yay, hip hip hooray! Oh my god! You're like, what are you doing? What is this nonsense? Well, anyway, don't ask questions, and definitely don't ask critical questions because you're like, "Ah! Ah! Ah!" It's like, okay, all right, got it. We're not dealing with the Miscavige cult. We got the Aaron cult. But I do find it hilarious and the deep irony here, where all sides are agreeing to silence Lindsay, but for different reasons. It's very, very curious to me in a Aaron kind of way. It's just curious to me, guys. But what do I know? I grew up in a cult. Seems curious to me that everyone's not saying anything. We got to name a few names. So, like Natalie, Marilyn, and a few others. But we can name more. Oh, Nora, of course, because she's very notorious. She's always gonna be jumping in defense of Aaron. If Aaron is like sneezing, oh Nora, beautiful and gay Nora, oh my god! Like, yeah. This one, Magic's. They can't say anything. Not a single video yet. Double checked. Even the community, nothing. They're just like, I guess it didn't happen. What's even more embarrassing, where they're at the barbecue in Florida. So Lindsay is local. They could reach out to her. Apparently, they don't have cars either. They don't have cell phones. They don't have cars. They don't have computers. They don't even have cameras. But wait, yes, they do, because at the barbecue, they're using the cameras. And they're online. Huh. Isn't that interesting? So it's been a hot weekend, but unfortunately, it's drawing to a close, and we'd have to conclude at least the early part of this very serious revelations. The women of SPTV apparently don't care about the female victim. They only care about the female victim when it fits their narrative. And what is the narrative? Well, I'm glad you asked because it always comes back to one name on their side, Mike Rinder. If they ever get in trouble, you know what they're going to pull? They're going to pull the Mike Rinder card. Let's talk about Mike Rinder. Let's talk about OSA. And we could talk about Mike Rinder and OSA. We could talk about Mike Rinder and OSA and Jerry Armstrong, but we're not going to talk about that. No. We're not going to talk about substance. We're going to talk about, I don't trust Mike because he's not smiling in the right time. I don't trust Mike because he's not standing with a woman. I don't trust Mike because he doesn't have a black man on the board. I don't trust Mike. Where's his diversities? So it's these very shallow, very dumb criticisms where, you could charge the guy with murder, right? You do know that, right? He probably committed murder, allegedly, under OSA, but no, we're going to concentrate on him going through trash. And we got the receipts, guys. OSA picked the trash. Got it. Alrighty then. But, and again, this does not deserve an apology, but I do have this observation to close that Rinder is also being very silent. But see, here's the problem. You did it to yourselves because, yeah, isn't it interesting? Mike Rinder is also very silent. Well, no, you've said, and you've been defaming and attacking, destroying him for the last couple months and saying he's this evil werewolf, sexist predator, werewolf man. Can't trust anything he says. Don't put the women around Rinder. Don't put children around Rinder. Oh my God, the women, children's. Oh my God, and just over and over this moral panic that anything Rinder does is evil. Now, me, I'm being rational. I'll criticize Rinder for being evil. Wait for it. When he's evil, not just because he breathes. That's just stupid. But no, everything Rinder does over the last couple months, kept making videos about it. Rinder put a blog post where he had the word the. Oh, let's put a video up. Okay. Well, now Rinder can legitimately say, well, I'm not going to say anything. I'm not going to do anything because everything he does, it's uncomfortable. We need to discuss Mike Rinder again. Don't you already have like 12 Mike Rinder videos? When I do a Mike Rinder video, I try to bring new information to bear. But them, it's like, it's the old heads. Oh, Nora, and he screamed at me, and there's some weird sexual things happening with Mr. Kent. Well, there you go. Mike Render's to blame. Well, there you go. So if you were Mike Rinder, you could legitimately say, well, apparently anything I say about women, anything I do with women, I'm going to get bombarded with these incredible, weird accusations. So it's like, you know what? Fine. You don't want me to help? Fine. You handle it. And how are they handling it? Scientology handling. Namely, we're going to silence the victim. Isn't that amazing? Isn't that amazing? But now here, Mike Render's silence is like, well, what do you want him to do? If he speaks out, you attack him. If he doesn't speak out, you attack him. So he's like, you know what? I'm just going to step away from the whole thing, which he has. So it's like, it's a very ironic thing that they've given Mike Rinder his best revenge. He doesn't have to do anything. Now he can just be like, you know what? I'm not going to help a victim. I'm not going to talk about a victim. I'm not going to do anything. And he ends up in a better place than you do. So that's the legacy of the women of SPTV. They've made the OSA guy look real good in comparison. That should be really shameful.